Julia, thank you for sitting down with me for this interview. It means the world to me, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity to do this. When imagining how this would go, or imagining how an interview with anybody else would go, like I imagined, one of the other things I thought about doing was interviewing Mike the Snare, for
Oh
this
yeah.
project, and I imagined how I would start these interviews, and I decided on starting them off with thank yous. So the first thing is thank you for sitting down with me, and then the rest of these are for the general Rat Boys. Rat Boys, thank you for shouting out Michigan on two occasions, the state in I Want You Fall 2010, and Lake Michigan itself in Go Outside. So thank you for that. Thank you for releasing the songs. There's a long list here. Folk Song for Jazz, Peter the Wild Boy, I Go Out at Night, Alien with a Sleep Mask On, Victorian Slumhouse, My Hands Grow, Ange, The Stanza, Intense Judgment, Morning Zoo,
Mm.
It's Alive, The Window, and Black Earth, Wisconsin. And Rat Boys, thank you for making the t-shirt that I'm wearing right now. I checked your shop and it says it's sold out, so I made the right choice at the gig last November. So yeah, yeah, just thank you again for
Thank you.
joining me.
Thanks for calling out those songs. Those are some deep cuts in
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it means a lot to me.
Yeah. I mean, Rap Boys has very quickly climbed my list of favorite artists and musical acts. I don't know if you know them or if you're friends with them or anything, but my all time favorite band is the Beths. I love
Oh
them to
yeah.
death. I've seen them like 3 times live, and actually, I think I remember reading on the bassist Ben's breakfast and travel blog that they went to an album release party for The Window, or
Yeah.
something like that. Very cool, but I think you and the Beths are kind of like neck and neck in terms of how much I'm listening to your discography right now, and I wanted
Oh,
to
that's
shout
really
those out
nice.
for you.
That's great company to be in for
Yeah, yeah,
sure.
yeah. And I mean, they are great to be in your company, you know. So,
Thanks.
uh, going on then, there's. I just want to tell you a little bit more about myself and about the classmates that I'll be sharing this with.
Please.
Um, so the class is, well, I mean, we're from Grand Rapids Community College. It's the Albert P. Smith College of Music, or at least the building's named after this guy. And the class is just a general intro to music business class. The students in here, there are a range of majors. We have a lot of recording tech majors, some performance majors as well, and then potentially even some music therapy majors.
Oh
But
wow.
I am a music and entertainment business major. So there's some other things that go along with that, like where I can follow up with another college. But I do have some fellow classmates who are also in that track. And as a part of the honors program, like I mentioned in the email, this is a project that I designed for myself to be able to do. But I have some questions for myself on here, or that I wrote myself, and then the rest of them are questions from the class. Um, so starting
Cool.
off, in your own words, could you tell us a little bit about Rap Boys and its inception, and and potentially give us an update on where you're at as a band at this time?
Yeah, for sure. So we've been a band for a while. I guess the story begins when I met our guitar player, my partner Dave.
Mm-hmm.
He and I started playing music together when we were freshmen in college. That would have been in the fall of 2010. We
Mm.
met at school. We went to school in South Bend, and so not too far from Grand Rapids.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's a beautiful part of the country. We would drive around. Like, there's not a ton to do in South Bend. It's a great town, but we would often spend our weekends listening to music and just like driving around, aimlessly in
Mm-hmm.
Michigan. So it's a very special part of the world to us.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like that could be where the sorry, I don't know why I'm forgetting the song title. I just mentioned it. That you
I
mentioned
want you.
earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
Want You, Fall 2010.
totally.
It makes a lot of sense.
Totally, yeah. It's just all like some of our earliest memories, really great times. And yeah, just kind of like showing each other music as you do with any new friend. It was really exciting. And so yeah, we would make mix CDs for each other and stuff, like classic millennial stuff.
Mm.
And eventually, I started showing him some music that I had written on my own in high school, and we sort of collaborated to record it just for fun, just like for our friends. We didn't really have any professional aspirations. And then yeah, we showed our recordings to our friends and just kind of started playing shows really slowly and sporadically, and it was all just
Mhm.
for fun and just to hang out and meet people. And so eventually, when we graduated, we just started doing some DIY touring, and it all kind of like snowballed. We just kept writing songs and making records, and we've been very lucky to have friends both in Northwest Indiana and Chicago, where we eventually moved, who love making music and are down to collaborate. And so it's all happened very gradually and naturally, but I'm so grateful we still get to do this all these years later.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for the inception of it being in 2010, and now we're in 2025. That's, I mean, a 15-year long project. Whether you knew it was going to be a project at the beginning is certainly nothing to scoff at.
It's
And
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like almost half my life, and so
Mhm.
um, the fact that we were able to we in 2017 we started playing with our bandmates Sean and Marcus, who have been with the band pretty much consistently since then, and so especially since the pandemic, it's been the
Mhm.
four of us, rock solid. So
Yeah.
I can't say enough good things about them and how much they've brought to the group as well. So it's the four of us now, and we just finished recording I guess it's our sixth record, and
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
that kind of crosses out one of my follow up questions here. That I wanted to ask how the new record's coming along. But cool, it's cool to know that it's done recording. Like I'm not, yeah.
Right. It's
Mhm.
it's in that weird middle ground phase where it's like we're finished recording, but we haven't really started mixing it yet, and
Mhm.
so we haven't even heard a lot of the songs since we were in the studio at the end of February. It's been like three
Mhm.
weeks, so
Are
yeah,
you
we're just kind of
yeah? Are you
getting ready.
working? Are you working with Chris Walla again? I'm sorry for interrupting.
Yes, indeed. No, no, no,
Okay.
you're good. Yeah, he flew back over from Norway. He lives in Norway now.
Oh wow, wow.
I know it's a
Yeah,
bit of a hike, right?
yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Transcontinental
So
flight.
exactly, we're
Um,
lucky he made the trip. It was
yeah,
great.
yeah. Well, I mean, considering how your last record went for you and for everybody involved, or at least from what I can see, it's still in my disc changer since the gig. It's in my car. It has like one of those little six stacks things,
Yeah.
and I had to make sure to keep it in there. But yeah, so that kind of covers a couple questions. And then I feel like I already know the answer to this question, but just for the rest of the class, why Ratboys?
Oh, the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was my high school nickname.
Mm.
When I was 14, my girlfriends and I in school, we went to an all girls school, and it was just like, kind of had to create your own excitement sometimes. And so, I mean, it was a mercifully like drama free environment, which is great looking back. But
A
yeah,
drama-free environment sounds pretty good for a high school.
I'll
Yeah.
I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, I had I was lucky. I had a pretty good high school experience. But yeah, we were just bored at lunch one day, and my friend Liz just looked at me and she said, "You're a little rat boy," and it just like started this whole inside joke with our friends, and we created this little character kind of. And so yeah, eventually when I started writing songs and was able to record them I got my first laptop right after I graduated high school as like a pre-college gift or whatever. And
Me too. Yeah.
yeah, as you do, it's like a rite of passage, I guess, to have your own like computer for the first
Mhm.
time. But anyway, yeah, so it had like a little built-in microphone, and so when I started recording myself using that built-in microphone, I just called myself Rat Boy because that's what all my friends called me. And
Okay.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
yep.
Well, then there are a couple questions down the line that are related to. I should have never told my Google Drive to only open with Face ID because I keep having to re-sign into my phone here.
Oh
Um,
no,
but
that's
it's all right. We're doing good. We're doing
you're crushing it. I
yeah,
wouldn't
we're
have known.
crushing it. but I only have one more question about the new record.
Okay.
And then the rest of it, there are some questions that talk a little bit more about like, oh, what's your process like for producing and playing
Yeah,
music?
yeah.
But the rest are about music business. But if you could indulge me in just this one more question
Sure.
about the record, there is a bootleg video out there of your one of your new songs, "Strange Love,"
Ah,
that where you mention the vibe that you're trying to cultivate is like that of the Roadhouse in Twin Peaks. Whether or not you still agree with that now is up, of course, up to you. But do you think that takes on new meaning after David Lynch's passing? Uh,
oh man, yeah. I mean, God, I don't know if I'm the best person to speak to this because I actually never finished Twin Peaks. I didn't watch the recent season yet
yeah, like the
that he
return.
made.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But Marcus, our drummer, is a huge Twin Peaks fan and
Mhm.
has watched every episode multiple times. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that song. My goal for that one specifically was like Jenny Lewis at the Roadhouse, like clear eyed, but in a bar at night where no one's really paying attention in the
Mm.
sleepy little town. That was kind of
Yeah, like the
the
ambiance
atmosphere.
and everything. Okay. Yeah, so
Right.
that's more for the song than for the full record then.
Definitely, yeah. I
Okay.
think each song on the record has its own sort of little world, um, which is what makes it so fun and challenging to make a record like this. You know, it's kind of ambitious. We've thought of it. Chris used the analogy the whole time of like quilt making, how
Hmm.
like each square or like each little patch of the quilt is its own story or texture or sonic world. And so Strange Love is definitely its own little patch.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear how it comes out. I haven't even heard that song since we were in the studio, so
Hey, well, I mean, at the gig I saw you guys at with Low Phase in town.
did we play that one?
I think you did. I think you played that and The World So Madly. I think those are the two
Cool.
new tunes that you played there. Both of which were very great, and I asked about them. I think I actually asked your drummer at the time. But
Cool.
yeah, thank you. That is wonderful to hear because I've been getting into Twin Peaks a little bit recently too. So
Oh,
yeah,
great.
and then we there's this like art house kind of movie theater in town that plays a lot of classics. And after Lynch passed, they announced their biggest series yet, where they're just playing literally every David Lynch movie, including Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me, all those things.
Nice.
So yeah, yeah. But with that ado, here are some of the questions from our classmates, and I'll say who asked them. Um,
Okay.
Lillian asks, "Did any of you go to music school? And do you think that choice, whether it's a yes or no, played into your band's success?"
That's a great question. No, none of us did. Um, Between the four of us, we studied. I was an English major, and I studied peace studies. And then Dave studied architecture,
Mm.
and Marcus was a graphic design student at Columbia College in Chicago, and Sean went to U of I in Champaign-Urbana and studied journalism.
Mm.
Um, and he still works in journalism on the side. But yeah, I mean, I didn't ever really. I don't think any of us ever really, when we started playing music together and on our own, like um, had goals of making it our profession. Like
Mm.
it started out more as a hobby and a way to make friends and just like an interest. Like we all love listening to music and playing it on our own, but I didn't really know anything about the music industry when we started the band. So,
Mm.
like at all,
Yeah.
between, record labels and contracts and royalties and all that stuff, it's like completely foreign to me. And so, um, I mean, I think I will say, like, I grew up singing in choirs
Mm.
and like in high school. And I know Dave definitely, and I think Sean played in like a jazz band, like high school bands through their
Awesome.
schools.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that kind of stuff is huge. Like, just you learn a little bit of music theory. You also just learn for me in choir, like how to approach certain like technical aspects of singing, like breathing is really important, and warming up, and just kind of like becoming familiar with your voice as an instrument. So I
Yeah.
can't say enough how important that was to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. I think that your answer kind of also covers a bit of the next question from Cam F, who asked, "How did you determine your genre of best fit?" And then I would also add, what would you even say your genre of best fit is? But then they asked, "When did you realize music could be your profession?"
Yeah. The genre thing we're still kind of figuring out. I really don't know. Like, it's been a bit of a winding road because when we first started um, playing music, I was playing mainly an acoustic guitar, and we were much quieter in general, like on stage, and so we got lumped in with like indie folk stuff. But then eventually, when we started touring, we had a lot of friends in like the emo world, and so
Mm.
we were on a lot of like emo bills. But also, our name is kind of like punk sounding, and
It
so
certainly does. Yeah, I've had people
yeah.
ask me like, "Are they a punk band?" It was like, I'm not sure they would say that, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll take it. Like the thing is, back when we were starting to play shows, we would be on these like the internet was a thing obviously, but like social media wasn't as much of a thing, and so like 10 years ago, and so which is crazy to think, but
Mm.
we would get booked on bills where people just clearly hadn't listened to our music before, and it was like kind of more aggressive shows. But it ended up being awesome. And so we've played in all sorts of different environments. I like to think that that's helped us maintain like some versatility. I don't know. Um, so yeah, the genre thing I think is kind of overrated. Like, I don't think you need to force yourself into any sort of box.
Mm-hmm.
Some of our favorite artists are constantly kind of reinventing themselves. Like all the way from like Neil Young to like Alex G. Nowadays, you can really do whatever you want, which is awesome.
Yeah, and
But
I feel that I can hear you adapting how you sound to how you would like and how you feel is right for the songs that you write. Like it's
yeah,
listening to your discography, you can definitely get the sense that like you're changing things because it feels right to change things because people change, and yeah, it's lovely.
I'm glad that comes through. I forget what the second part of the question was.
When did you realize music could be your profession? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I think there's an important point to pinpoint for us, which was when we started working with the booking agent. That was a big deal because before then we weren't even really focusing on like selling tickets whatsoever. It was just DIY, showing up to the show and play music and hope that you have a place to sleep. But
Yeah.
when we started, yeah, when we started working with the booking agent, that was in 2017. It kind of showed me that someone who I didn't even know, like someone who I was just meeting, was willing to like invest their professional time into working with us. That was kind of an eye opener. Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
turning point for
yeah.
sure.
That was post AOID. That was post your first record, or
Yeah, that was right before we put out GN.
okay.
And so the touring that we did that summer of 2017 was still stuff that we booked, but starting that fall, that's when we started playing shows booked by our agent.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have plenty of people in the class who are either booking shows themselves or are trying to begin booking shows for themselves or others. So that's very cool to
Cool.
hear. Peyton asks, "What do you think was the best thing you did in regards to outreach when you first started as a group?" And there are a couple other questions that I'm gonna save for later because they connect to some other ones. But yeah, that's the main one.
Like outreach, like promoting our music.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I think the main thing that was important for us, and again, it's hard because I our situation was a little unique because when we started putting out music, we weren't putting pressure on ourselves to make it into a career. It was, like I said, it was pretty low stakes, like it was for
Mm,
fun.
yeah.
But I think the most important thing that helped us was sharing music with our friends and family, like
Mm,
making something that felt good to share. And then I don't know if we just got lucky or if I don't know, but like our friends liked it enough to share it, with their. It all started from a very organic place of just, kind of just sharing it with the people that we knew and loved, and then playing shows from there. And I think the next best thing, in addition to that, is like playing shows without expectations, and supporting touring bands. Like, even if you're not playing shows that touring bands are playing in your town, like going to them and seeing as many bands play as you can. And if you love a band, go up to them after and tell them. And like, it's easy enough to just make friends, and easy enough. I mean, I say that obviously, like, it's not always easy, but sometimes you get lucky, and the more shows you go to, the more awesome bands you'll see, and you'll just meet people and make connections, and who knows where that'll lead you.
Yeah, I mean, the more shows you go to, the more chances you have to meet people at a show and then ask them to interview you for a class project.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this is kind of evidence of that.
Totally.
Great. Yeah. I'm going to throw one of mine in here. Okay. Do you think going to college and being based in the Midwest has had an effect on your songwriting or your trajectory in the music business at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of indirectly, for the going to college part. I don't think it's necessary for everyone to do that. Mm-hmm. It obviously is such a personal choice, and like depends on so many factors as far as like financially and just what style learner you are and what you enjoy. Like, I was really lucky where I was able to go to school and not go into crazy debt, and I loved what I was studying, and so I was like, I was one of the rare cases where I like really enjoyed going to school. But I know that's not the case for everyone, so I think the most important thing is just putting yourself in a position where you're not like hating your life, and and that will automatically engender like creativity and excitement and wanting to wake up and write a song maybe. So for me it worked out well, because it gave me kind of a like 4-year period where I was sort of allowed to like just focus on learning and creating, and like I didn't have to worry right away about like entering the workforce. And so that was a super like lucky and privileged thing for me. But as far as being in the Midwest, though, I mean, that's a huge, I think, objective benefit for entering the music business. And you don't even have to be in like a big city like Chicago or Detroit or something. Like, just being in the Midwest is so ideal because you're so close to so many cities and towns that it's easy to tour. If you're in Denver or like, Texas or something, it's just like longer drives. And so in the Midwest, it's easy enough to do like a weekend in Wisconsin, or like go down to Indianapolis, or whatever. Like, there's so many college towns and just places to play, so it has helped a lot.
I hadn't even thought about that angle. Like I was thinking from a place of like influence from like genres, and influenced by like the myriad of things that you can find as inspiration.
That's true.
But that's totally correct. Is just like the proximity to these places, and like there are plenty of people in at least Grand Rapids that will drive to Detroit for a show and then drive back at like 2:00 in the morning and then be back in time for work at 9 a.m. It's like stuff like that. So it's a little bit of a struggle, but I mean, it still makes it possible for them to enter themselves into this scene. So
totally.
Let's see here. Simon asks, are you independent or signed? If independent, would you sign? And if you're signed, what benefits come from that?
Yeah, so that's like a huge question. I mean, so right now, currently, we're not signed anywhere. We've worked with the same record label our entire career. They're called Top Shelf Records. They were founded in Boston, eventually moved to San Diego, and now they're located up in Portland, Oregon. Great people. Kevin Duquette, who runs the label, is like one of the most creative minds I've met in doing this. Yeah, so I highly encourage everyone to check out their roster. It's incredible. But yeah, so we've put out all of our records with them so far, and there are definite benefits to hooking up with a label. The main one is that if you're just starting out, a label will ideally help you fund a physical release. If you want to put your music out on vinyl or on CD or whatever, a label would be helping you with those initial costs. The way it works, of course, is that you enter into an agreement where those costs are recoupable, and so you eventually you don't collect any royalties on your music until you make enough to pay back the label for that money that they put in. So it's just a different way to do it. Like if you have a friend at a pressing plant, you really don't need to sign to a record label and give away half of your royalties because, maybe you have a friend who can help you press records for cheap, or if you are a weird millennial like me and have access to like burning CDs and that's what you want to do, you can you can go on Facebook Marketplace, buy a cassette deck and like make your own tapes. There's ways you can do it that don't require you giving anything up to a label, which, like I said, it just has its pros and cons. Like labels can help with other things. If you are looking for someone to help you publicize or promote your work with news outlets or press or something, like certain labels have connections there that might be hard to just facilitate on your own. So definite benefits, but if you're just starting out, it's definitely not something you need to get your music out there.
Yeah. And then that totally covers that. I don't want to spend too much time on that conversation just because
I know
I've
it
heard
sucks
so much about it. It's a good question, but it's also a very long question. Connor asks, how would you describe the growth of your band from a business perspective? Did you have a gradual rate of growth in following, or was it more rapid?
Yeah, it's been very gradual, which I'm grateful for because I imagine, I don't know this personally because we haven't experienced anything like this really, but I'd imagine if you go from no listeners to a ton of rapid growth overnight, like similar to what Chapel Roan has been experiencing or something.
Just thinking that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, think of how difficult that must be to even just get your affairs in order. Like, I'm sure that she had the amount of she was established enough that she might have had like an accountant or something already, but like you really can lose, I'd imagine you can lose so much in the cracks of like overnight success like that. With even just like there's all of these income streams like that I don't even understand, and so I don't really feel like qualified to talk about them, but like there's different like royalty like publishing avenues and stuff, like there's sound exchange and there's like ASCAP and all this stuff, and I don't know very much about how all that works, and so like I would imagine that I think that having a more gradual rate of growth is helpful because it's allowed us to kind of start working with people at each benchmark and people that we trust who can kind of take care of that stuff, and we don't really have to worry about it. Whereas if we blew up overnight, we would need to figure that out like right away.
That would cause like a big amount of crunch time. And like with the Chapel Roan thing, it's like, I mean, the kind of story being like, oh, she was signed, but then she got dropped. Then she had a song, and then that blew up on TikTok, and then just that whole thing. It puts a lot of like, it shines a lot of lights on your face. It shines a lot of lights that kind of blind you to some of these things. Whether or not, however prepared she was, there was like an element to that is probably no one could really truly prepare for it unless they knew it was coming. And so,
that's the most important thing, I think. Like dismissing everything I said about like the nuts and bolts, like business aspects of this, like knowing who you are and kind of understanding your identity and like feeling confident in your music and just taking that one step at a time, I think is really valuable because it can be so easy, like you said. Again, I would imagine it could be so easy to lose sight of your self-image when all of a sudden everyone's looking at you, like that's really scary. So it's good to take it slow, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Bobby asks something similar to that question. Do you have any kind of event that you could attribute to igniting your band's career, or like what led up to that event, if you have one?
I don't know if there's like one single thing. Yeah, I don't know if our career has fully been ignited
Right.
yet.
Well, I mean,
But
it's yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's hard to say. I mean, I think I noticed little benchmarks along the way, like even just going back to like our first show was huge. You know, like it just
Hmm.
felt so validating that our friends cared about what we were making, like our songs, you know. And then, like I said, when we started working with the booking agent, that was really important. That was just kind of like a paradigm shift for us. Like, oh, people out there care more than we might have realized, or want to invest their time in us. So that was cool. And then, I mean, yeah, there are like tours that we've done that have been really helpful and really memorable and uh, you know, productive, for lack of a better word. Just like very
I mean, it fits. Yeah.
impactful. Yeah, like just tours that we've gotten to do over the years. Like we did a big tour with Foxing in 2018 that felt really great.
Yeah,
And
I have that in one of my questions down the line. I wanted to ask about that, but yeah, great. And all right, here's a fun one. I mean, they're all fun to an extent. But Eli asks, do you use a rat pedal? And if not, how do you get your guitar tone?
oh man, I am so sad to say that I don't use a rat pedal. I'm a poser. We made these hoodies that have the rat pedal on them,
I
and
when I checked your website to see if this was still in stock, I did see that, and I was like, that looks like the rat pedal that I just looked
yeah,
up. Yeah.
I have a lot of love for the rat pedal. It's not that I don't use it because I don't like it. I just never owned one.
Mm.
So I should probably just get one. I don't know what I'm doing, but yeah, I use I'm not very big into pedals. I like them a lot. I've never really, to be honest, like I only started playing electric guitar like a few years into this band,
Right.
and
Mhm.
it's still I gravitate toward acoustic guitar when I'm just like playing on my own, and so I really only like mess around with electric guitar when we're playing shows, and
Okay.
so my pedal arsenal is pretty limited. I have a Earthquaker tone job, which I really like. I started using that during the Printer Devil like recording session.
Mm.
Um, it's just like a little boost, and then I use it. It's called a Paul Cochran. God, I think it's Paul Cochran. Whatever. It's the Cochran Timmy overdrive pedal.
Ah, okay.
I
Yeah.
That was my first pedal. Dave got that for me for my birthday a few years ago, and that is really cool. It makes the guitar break up in a really cool way. And I like to use Dan Electro guitars or like similar style. The Flying V Dan Electro that I play is
Yeah,
like guitar.
I've seen plenty of photos with it. I can't remember if we had it at the gig, but I loved that
Oh yeah,
guitar. Yeah.
I've played it nonstop since I got it. My friend Ian, who lives in Des Moines, he built that guitar.
Oh,
Um,
sweet. Yeah.
yeah, and it's called a Nepco guitar. So if anyone's curious, he has an Instagram for those.
I can guarantee the at least two guys that sit behind me in class are going to be like looking that up as this interview
Cool.
is being played. But yeah, that's great. There are a couple other. There's at least two more questions that Eli had. One of them is also about tech. What sort of mics do you prefer, and why?
Oh, great question. I mean, I sing through this mic that I'm talking through right now. It's called a Beta 57, a Shure Beta 57.
Hmm.
Um, I honestly picked up this mic because we have a buddy who works at Shure and he recommended it to me. It sounds great. I'm not really a gear person. Like I don't really, I still barely even know like the difference between a like condenser mic versus a, like cardioid, all these like terms.
Yeah,
I
there are.
that's
there.
like something I realize every time we record is like, holy crap, it's so technical, and I just like don't have that knowledge, and I'm honestly not even that curious about it, which I'm kind of sad to admit. Like I like I like knowing what makes something sound good or sound, a certain way, but there's just so much to know that it's kind of difficult. So Dave, our guitar player, is more in that world, and he would probably have a better answer for
Yeah.
what mics he likes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a great answer all the same. Yeah.
I
I did
mean,
wonder
I
if
think
yeah.
I think it's really heartening to think about like some of my favorite albums were famously recorded with just like one or two microphones. Like and really accessible, inexpensive microphones, like a Shure SM57, which is like the
Mm.
most famous mic of all
Yeah,
time. Like,
old reliable. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Michigan by Sufjan Stevens is one of my favorite records ever, and he famously recorded that with just a 57, I
Yeah.
think, an AKG like condenser mic. And so you can make awesome records without needing
Yes.
expensive gear, you know?
Yeah. Hey, no, another Michigan shout out. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that Michigan should have gotten the Broadway dance musical treatment instead of Illinois,
Hey, it's
but
not too late.
it's not too late. Yeah. And then uh, yeah, I think I'm gonna move on because we've mentioned some of the other ones.
Okay.
Kai asks, how do you cultivate your creative identity? Do you feel you have to sacrifice any unique ideas to be more marketable? How do you balance that kind of thing?
That's a great question. I mean, that's kind of something I try not to think about too much because I don't want to be like I think it's important to be yourself and like
Mm-hmm.
instinctive and not that's just who I am. Like I know some artists are very they like to create distance between like their artistic persona and who they are privately, and I respect that. But for me, it's like I kind of am my art, and I want to be like vulnerable and honest, and I like creating this like kind of closeness or intimacy between myself and our fans, and uh, I thrive in that. Like I don't really I don't think I'd feel super comfortable like um, sort of presenting this like aloof
Yeah.
uh, far off perspective, and so I think for me it's more just about kind of cultivating community with our fans and trying not to put on airs and uh, yeah, just being there. And I mean, COVID, oddly enough, was like a really great opportunity to explore that because we were just at home and we had time and space to go down these avenues we probably wouldn't have otherwise, like with Discord and
Mm-hmm.
Patreon and stuff. Just like getting to know our fans on a more personal level has been really cool. So
Very cool. Very awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm into that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that kind of perspective. I mean, it keeps you in touch with your own music more. Like, just
Yeah, I
I
mean
mean,
that's the thing though. It's all valid. Like whatever you want to do, as long as you feel good about it and it brings you joy. Like if you want to be like Orville Peck and wear a mask and no one
mhm.
knows you and that's your whole thing, that's awesome. Like you know, every artist comes to it from a different place. So there's no wrong way. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. And then let's see here. Ryan asks, how much do the four of you do? And while that's a pretty broad question, I'll kind of specify it. Is there, besides the instruments that you play, are there any activities outside of the actual playing of the music that you divide any tasks into, or do you have like, I mean, you have a mixing engineer or a videographer or an album
Mm.
cover artist? Like, how is labor split up amongst you and your fellow team?
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, it's split up pretty evenly because there is a lot to do. I mean, we're grateful. We work with a like an accountant and a manager and a publicist and booking agent. So some of those jobs we work with
Mm-hmm.
other people to do. But between the four of us, I mean, at shows, for instance, the guys handle a lot of like the setup and teardown tasks on stage while I'm at the merch selling stuff. Sean is a great writer, and so he works closely with our publicist when it comes time to like make press releases and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of when it's time to think about like a new bio for the record or
Yeah.
just sort of any language questions, I tend to go to Sean first, and then Marcus and Dave are both great designers and illustrators, so they handle a lot of our merch designs. And Marcus is good as well with like like kind of simple web development stuff, and so he built our website and
Yeah.
maintains that.
Yeah, and I mean your website's lovely.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
would go back to it routinely leading up to this to be like, what more can I find out? What more should I keep in mind?
Well, that's
But
nice.
yeah, that's it's cool to hear that you that it's not a like, I mean, no judgment if this is the way it is, but like it's cool to hear that you have a hand in things outside of just the music, because of course you would have to. It's like people have to be able to like, contribute to that kind of thing, and that's a lot of what this class we're taking is about. Is like,
Totally.
you can't just be the person that sits down and plays a classical guitar piece. You got to be the person that books the show sometimes, or hires the person to book the show. So yeah,
Totally.
great answer.
Sorry.
Oh, no problem. It's fine.
I feel like Bill Murray. I don't know if you saw Bill Murray's Hot Ones, but he had like alarms going off
all the time. I'll have to watch that. That seems funny. Let's see here. Oh, I kind of lost my place.
No, you're good.
Oh, well, I mean, that kind of skips over a question that Anna H asked. She asked if you have a graphic designer that you hire, or what about your website? Do you hire a professional, or is it cheaper and easier to do it yourself? You've definitely kind of answered that.
I think so.
Yeah. Amber asks, how do you promote your music? Either then or now. Do you find one thing works over the other?
Yeah, God, I mean, that's a great question. Social media is probably the main way, although it's becoming a bit more confusing these days because the way algorithms are working and all these different apps popping up, it's kind of hard to know like the best way to find meet your audience where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tough because like I often don't really feel qualified to answer this question as far as social media goes, because like when we started being a band, like it really just wasn't as much of a thing. Like streaming wasn't even as much of a thing, and so we've really kind of just like gradually started like trying to figure it out. I feel like, yeah, like trying to just post whenever you got stuff going on is important, and not put too much pressure on yourself if you're only getting like 10 or 20 likes at first, because like, you know, you can't expect the whole world to know. It takes time, I think, to like build a fan base. So
yeah, and I mean, an algorithm has to start somewhere. Like,
totally, yeah. And I mean, like, just I don't know, like we're not really on TikTok, and I feel bad about that sometimes, but at the same time, I try to remind myself like no one's gonna want to watch you like feel like you're forcing yourself to do something. You know what I mean? Like it has to be something you genuinely enjoy, or at least like a message you really want to get across. And so I think like finding ways that feel good to spread the word is the most important thing. You don't have to cover every base, you know?
Yeah.
That's how I approach it.
Awesome. Yeah. Cam W asks, who do you go through for distribution of your music, or does a label do that? And how do you manage your budget and finances as a band?
Yeah, so our music is distributed by Red Eye, which is like a pretty large like global music distribution company. And yeah, we work with them via our label, Top Shelf. But Red Eye works with like dozens of labels. They're a pretty big one. And so they're the people that get the music service to DSPs like Spotify and Apple and Tidal and all that, but they're also the ones who are physically getting records into stores, which is really important. And there are ways to work with a company like that, not going through a label. You can still do that.
Yeah, we our professor, we call him Teacher John.
Nice.
Yeah, so Teacher John ended up getting somebody from DistroKid to come in and speak to us over a video call. And there were actually some people in class that used DistroKid. But it seems like, I mean, what did you say the company was? Red Eye?
Red Eye, yeah.
Red Eye.
Yeah.
It seems like they handle, like they work with a lot of physical distribution as well, which is, I think, something that DistroKid doesn't really do.
Word,
so very interesting to hear about that. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's important to just, if you want to get your records in the stores, like, there's no shame in just physically walking into a record store in your town and seeing if the store will, like, buy records. You know, like, those things are still totally, like, can be done. I feel like it's a scary thing nowadays to like pick up the phone and call someone, but like, there are ways to do it yourself too. But as far as the money aspect goes, I'm so grateful I don't have to handle that anymore. Like I used to kind of be in charge of our band's finances, and it was fine, but I'm not particularly qualified to do that. And so we started working with an accountant in 2021, and it's been great. They're a company who specifically works with like band accounting, and so they help us with taxes and like sort of budgeting, like you said, like forecasting and keeping track of what we have, like cash flow, and so that we can make good decisions about how much money to spend making an album, and what we need to make a tour affordable and things like that.
Yeah, totally. I think that actually was a question that I skipped, like how much money would go into the process of making an album. I'm trying to skip over ones that might be a little too pressing. Like I don't want to.
Well, no, I mean it's kind of sensitive, but at the same time, like it just totally depends on the project. Like I think if you're making something yourself, and you can conceivably make it at home, it'll only cost as much as your time, but then also like the amount that you're willing to invest in gear, which like we talked about, you don't really need. Like you don't need super expensive gear to make an album, especially now. It's incredible. Like the tools that are available to us, even just like on your phone, are pretty nuts. But yeah, I think a lot of it depends too on like if you want to go into a studio, what the day rate is, and a lot of studios have that info on like their website, and if you want to record with someone, what their day rate is, it's just like labor and labor, equipment, and rentals, like renting the space is pretty much the big three.
Excuse me. Thank you. And I think this is one of the last ones of mine, and then never mind, I have a couple more at the end, but could you tell us a little more about your experiences touring, either touring as a headliner or supporting bands like Foxing or the Decemberists, and anything you think is worth us knowing as students. And then as a side note to that, have you ever played a music festival, and how does that compare to some of your touring experiences?
Yeah. We've played some music festivals. Nothing. We'll do Lollapalooza this summer, which is like the biggest one.
I just saw that you booked it. I was like, I got hyped. Yeah.
Yeah, we're very excited for that. Probably the most comparable to that one in terms of size would be Primavera Sound, which we got to do last summer in Spain, which was incredible. It's a huge bucket list for me. I've always like admired their lineups from afar and wanted to go, and so to get to play that was so cool. Festivals are really wild because the sort of routine of your day is very different than a normal day on tour. Like usually you arrive at the venue, in the afternoon, and it's your show. Like it's just you. And so you have a lot of information in advance about like who you'll be working with to like put on the show, and you have a pretty long sound check unless something goes wrong. But usually at normal shows on tour, it's like a few hours to kind of get comfortable and set up on stage. But at festivals, it's pretty run and gun. Like you might have some information about what's going to happen, but things often change on the fly, and you sort of meet people as you're going. And it depends on the festival too, like how big it is and how long it's been around. Like things just kind of change sometimes, and you kind of just got to roll with it. And if there's any technical difficulties, it's a bit crazier because you're usually not using your own gear, and so you're kind of just at the mercy of whatever happens. But that's what makes it kind of magical and fun too, is like the chaos of it, so
yeah.
And I mean, you get to see so many awesome bands. It's not your show, so it's a little bit of a different experience that way. But yeah, I mean, we love to tour. I don't really, it's hard to think of exactly like what to share. It's different for everyone because tour can be kind of a grueling experience, like physically and mentally, especially if you have like a very rich support system at home. Like it can be hard to leave. And there's just so much fun to be had, meeting people and seeing the world and playing music every night in a different place. It's a very like gratifying experience. So if you can strike a balance between those two things, it can be the best. I would say that looking back on some of our earliest tours, like we really hit it hard, and like it is, as much as it's hard to justify this when you're starting out playing, it is important to give yourself a day off every so often and like prioritize your physical health and don't think that you're like not punk or like failing if you need to sleep in a bed every so often. Like it's important to prioritize your body because that helps you continue to play. It gives you more longevity and helps you not get sick on tour, which is the absolute worst feeling ever.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
You don't have to tour for 10 weeks. Like it's cool to do a weekend or a 2-week tour. That's great, so.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be plenty of people in class that are happy to hear that that they can be like, oh, I can go a little bit easier on myself.
I'd say so.
Yeah. Everett asks, do you have a PA set up for practice? If so, what sort of equipment do you use for it? They use a Harbinger M200 BT, or at least I think that's what they wrote down.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, we do. We don't use it as much anymore. We recently we upgraded a couple years ago to an in-ears thing, which we had never used before, which has been a big for me, a big positive step in the right direction, just because I never really played with earplugs in before, and so I feel like I'm protecting my hearing and also able to hear myself sing better, which is great. But not necessary. Obviously, we didn't have that for many, many years. So I'm looking at the PA from across the room. I actually don't, like I said, I'm like not much of a gear person.
That's okay.
I don't know what it is. I can take a picture after we get off the call. But yeah, PA is good to have when you're practicing because it helps you get your levels. It helps you make sure you're not playing too loud to get your voice over top, and unless that's the sound you're going for, and that's cool. It just helps you dial in and try to figure out how to avoid feedback and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
that's a good thing.
And second half of Everett's question, I'm going to combine with OJ's. So Everett and OJ ask, what is the process for filming or conceptualizing a music video like? And did someone in the band make the Go Outside collage lyric video? If not, who did?
Oh man, I'm so glad you all saw that. Yeah.
I made sure to play that one for them. I wanted to play like I Go Out at Night too, but I figured like we have more class to get to, so I'll just pick these two.
Cool. Yeah, Go Outside was a COVID project for us. Again, just we had so much time at home. Got into collaging. That was something I had never tried before.
Oh, so you did make it yourself?
I made the collages, and then Dave animated them. Well, no. Yeah. So Marcus and Dave, I'm forgetting exactly who did what, but Marcus and Dave both had a hand in the animation. Dave made the lyrics and animated those, and I think Marcus animated the rest, like the actual collage parts, the transitions and stuff. So it was a team effort, but yeah, that was really fun. Music videos are such a mysterious thing to me because I'm just very much like not a super visual person, and so I don't often like have an idea immediately upon like writing or finishing like recording a song. So we've been lucky because we've gotten to collaborate with people who are like very skilled and like talented in that department. So
for something like I Go Out at Night. Or For the Window, things like that. Yeah, we made both of those videos with our friend John Tirick, who moved down to Austin, Texas. He was in Chicago for a while, just so talented and scrappy and like down to DIY. He did the Alien with the Sea Mask on video too. Oh, sweet. Yeah,
it was just like outrageous. So yeah, he's just so ambitious and fun, and that whole team, he like just knows a lot of awesome people in visual media, and so David Hughes and Max Mooney, just like all these awesome people. And so really lucky we got to work with him. But at the same time, yeah, it is possible to DIY stuff like the Go Outside video and the Black Earth video we like made on our own. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the other one I showed. I think I showed them Go Outside. I showed them Black Earth because I told someone that it's the closest thing that they've done to like a full on jam band. Not including like Printer's Devil or something like that, because that's also a fairly long song. But I made sure to show them that, and I think I'm gonna they might. I mean, when we watch this video, they might be like, "Oh, he did do that." But I'm thinking about like getting to class early and then just like playing "I Go Out at Night" as soon as I see the first person walk into class, because like we get to watch the interview today.
Oh,
but
that's great.
Yeah. So I only have 3 questions left. One of them is from another student, and then the last 2 are from me.
Cool.
And the other student one has a couple in there, so maybe it's a little more than 3.
That's okay.
But what is the biggest trouble that you have faced as a band? I have a feeling I know a answer, but as a band or as individuals, what do you think has been a large obstacle in this process for you?
Yeah, I mean, things happen over time. Like in the early days, we had some interpersonal issues where we had to, like separate ourselves from a former member. Just tour can bring out some bad behavior sometimes with people, and I think it's important to call it as you see it, and just not let. I mean, God, this is kind of heavy, but like substance abuse and things like that, it's important to kind of keep that in check and do what's best for everybody. So that was tough early on. That was like in 2016. We had to, part ways with our former bassist. So that was hard on an interpersonal level. And yeah, I mean, obviously the pandemic was really difficult for all of us.
Yeah.
Like there's no denying how big of an impact that had on the music industry in general, not just, and I mean, God, the entire like global economy, obviously. But yeah, it's like no one was safe from that and its effects. So like I said, though, like it actually had some really unexpected benefits. Like some great things came out of that for us that would not have happened otherwise, I don't imagine. So it's been like really kind of, we've tried to make the most of it. So
Well, great. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. I'm sorry that happened in the early days, but it's good to be able to
gotta figure your shit out.
Yeah, it's good to be able to look back and be like, yeah, that was hard, but we got through that. I mean, that's why you're here today, why I'm here today. It's just
totally.
What is the greatest part of being Ratboys?
Wow. I don't know. I mean, wow, what a great question. I don't know.
Thank you, Anna S. I'm not sure I said her name earlier, so I wanted to make sure I did.
Nice. Well, I think the greatest part is, just being in this band and getting to play music with these people is really special to me. I don't take it for granted. Yeah, we get together once a week and jam, and it's so healthy and satisfying, and I'm so grateful we all live in the same place. It's so hard with life, often bands, our peers are kind of, life moves you in different directions and you can still make it work, but it's just so special that we're all still in this together. So that's my favorite part, I think. It's pretty simple.
Simple, wholesome. What advice would you give to people who want to start a band or create music together, to people who want to collaborate with people with music?
Yeah, that's one of the, it's kind of tough to, say find your people. You kind of have to just open your heart and your mind to whatever's out there. But I think, the most important thing is just, like be good to each other, and you know, when you find people who you love playing music with, yeah, don't take it for granted, and try to support one another. And I feel like so much more of a band, it's so much of being a band is more than just playing music together. It's like, you know, like communicating, and it's like more of a relationship, you know, that's like a four-way relationship. So it's important to, yeah, just kind of be there for each other. And I think the music follows that, to be honest. But I mean, and also so much of being in a band is like listening to music together, I think, and talking about, you know, music. And hopefully that doesn't feel like a chore. Hopefully it's something, like, it should be something that just is so natural because you like similar types of music, or you can maybe share things that you've discovered with your friends and bandmates. And I find myself reminding, like, thinking of that a lot. Is like, there's no time wasted if you're listening to music together. Like, even if you're not actively playing at every band practice, or like for the entire duration of all your band practices, like, you're still being a band if you're like going to shows together and like, you know, talking about awesome records you heard. And it's like, it all like feeds into each other. So it all matters.
Perfect. I mean, not that I was like, oh, this is going to have a right or a wrong answer. That's just exactly what I wanted to hear. Because,
nice.
I mean, when it comes to, I don't know, at least me, I think sharing music has always come before playing music.
Yeah.
Like, I started playing music first, but then when I got the sense that I could share music with people and be like, hey, listen to this thing. And I think Nick, Mike, I think he said that, or he quoted somebody as saying that, like, one of the most powerful things that you could probably do is have somebody listen to music in the way that you do, is to have somebody to listen to music in that way. And then by doing that, that means that you can potentially play music in this with somebody in that way.
Totally.
So great, lovely. And last two questions here. One of them kind of comes back to that. What are some musicians and bands that you or the rest of Ratboys as a whole love right now? Like, who are you listening to right now?
Well, I've been loving this new Horse Girl record.
Horse Girl?
That just came out. Yeah, they all live in, or they're from Chicago. They live in New York now, but they're like a young Chicago band that's absolutely crushing it. Let me see. We have a playlist that we kind of keep going every month that we add to.
That seems like a great idea for people to keep sharing music with each other, like a collaborative playlist.
Yeah, that's kind of what we try to do. Yeah, I've been going down the Brian Eno deep dive rabbit hole.
Did you see that documentary they made on him?
No.
They made a documentary. I think it. I mean, to each their own. If this is like a plus or a minus, I think it's like generative. I think they like made like an AI documentary, but like, put like a bunch of intention behind it still. I don't know, but there is a Brian Eno doc out there if you wanted to check that out.
Word up. Okay, I'm trying to watch the Big Star doc soon. I just found out it's not like a new documentary, but I found out in the last few months that Alex Chilton from Big Star is also the vocalist of the Box Tops, which is like this old like 60s band that he fronted when he was like 16. Anyway, he transformed his voice so much over the course of his career. I am kind of blown away, so I want to watch that doc. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this playlist, and Marcus and I independently put a different song from the new Cloakroom record on there. Indiana's Finest. They're just an incredible band because they're so heavy, but it's like not abrasive. Like it's, I don't know.
That. You gotta love that.
I don't know any band that really straddles that like Venn diagram. Super, like it feels like a warm blanket, but it's like so heavy. It's like a weighted blanket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So love that band. Their new record, they made it electrical, where we recorded this past record, the one that we're mixing right now. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love that. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't curse.
It's fine. It's fine. We're a community college. We're not a high school. It's okay.
Cool. Yeah, I love listening to the radio on tour. So like we found some fun stuff on the radio on this last tour. Like there's like a really awesome country station that we found in God, where was that? Like Massachusetts or something, maybe. I don't know. So I've been listening to like old Alan Jackson records and stuff, and just like
nice
getting back to my pop country roots.
Yeah, you can hear. I mean, this is just as much for me as it is for the people in class who are watching this right now. You can hear some of the kind of twang in the music.
I know. Yeah, I'm from Kentucky. It's just how it is.
You can hear it in a Victorian slum house in your voice and stuff like that. It's like it's totally audible. Yeah.
Thanks. I love that song.
Yeah, I love it too. Is that based on a reality TV show?
Yeah.
It is? Okay. I was like...
BBC. Yeah. It's real. It's on YouTube. Check it out.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
But,
well then, one last thing before I see you off. Have you ever played a college show?
Yes.
Yeah. Would you be interested in coming back to Grand Rapids for one? If we have one.
Dude, hit us up.
Yeah.
You know it.
GRCC, it's a community college. It's a pretty great community college, but doesn't have anything in place to really put on a college show. But I was wondering, this honors program gives people access to some opportunities that they might not. Maybe I could try to pull something together.
Okay.
But other than that, any opportunity that you four have to come back to Grand Rapids would be just lovely.
We will make it happen. We love coming there.
Yeah. There's been some uncertainty surrounding the music scene in town as of late. There's this thing called Festival of the Arts. It was the longest volunteer-run music and art festival in the country for a long time. And after 55 years, they're not continuing this summer. So it's kind of been a little bit on a downer. Yeah, I don't mean to end this with that, but it's put a lot of people, especially me, in a position where what does the future of the performing arts in this city really look like? Mm-hmm. But we're also building this gigantic amphitheater on the river that could potentially hold a music festival or some kind. But yeah, I don't mean to get too much into our business, but
that's awesome though.
We love that. Yeah, we love that you love our town and we love you, and just want to make sure to ask you to come back at some point soon. So.
Oh yeah, we will. We played Grand Rapids since the very beginning, so we'll definitely keep it on the list. I love anywhere in Michigan we could play. But yeah, Grand Rapids is ideal because it's not too far from here too. So
yeah, it's easy. Yeah. I would also recommend. I don't know if you've played there yet, but in Kalamazoo, Bell's Beer Garden for a good summer show. Bell's Beer Garden. They are awesome. I saw Japanese Breakfast there and the Beths there.
Cool.
I think 3 and 2 years ago, respectively.
Nice.
And, it's a pretty great spot. So yeah,
we will do that. I hope.
Yeah. But without further ado, there we go. Now I can access my notes here. Julia, thank you so much for joining me. Give our best to Dave, Marcus, and Sean. And we highly, or at least I highly look forward to seeing you live again and for your new record. This has been lovely.
Hell yeah. Thanks so much for having me, James. I appreciate you and all of your classmates' questions. It's really thoughtful.
Yeah. I realize now I didn't get one from Teacher John, but I'm sure whatever he wanted to know, it was probably in here. We talked about a lot. So
hopefully we covered it.
yeah, hopefully we did. But all right, thank you so much, and hey, have a great rest of your night, your week, your month, and hopefully the album mixing goes well. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll see you again.
Yeah, see you around. Bye.
Take it easy.